Our top story tonight, two families are in mourning after a deadly crash that happened over the weekend.
It killed an off-duty Lithonia police officer and a 1-month-old baby. 11 Alive's Duffy Dixon has reaction, and she joins us now. Duffy?
Well, guys, this is a tragedy for everyone involved.
Well, Atlanta police say two men carjacked a pricey muscle car last night in Virginia Highland.
And police say one of the victims was a Fulton County magistrate judge. 11 Alive's Doug Richards reports tonight on the judge and what happened. Today marks day 9 of the Jamie Hood capital murder trial. He's on trial for shooting and killing an Athens Clark County police officer back in 2011.
Our Blaine Alexander spent the day in the courtroom, and Blaine, much of today's testimony focused on what happened after those shootings took place, right?
Catie, back to you.
Thanks, Blaine. And coming up in our next half hour, Atlanta Alive anchor and former attorney Vinnie Politan takes a more in-depth look at the case and breaks down how Jamie Hood is doing in the courtroom as he plays both defendant and defender. We'll analyze what's working and what's not. Again, that's coming up in the next half hour.
All right, turning now to the weather. Our chief is here. He's tracking pop-up storms across the area tonight. Chris.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of them around, but the ones that we do have
are. Police now know the identity of a man found shot to death outside an Atlanta club. Police were called to Stilettos on Marietta Street at around 3:30 Sunday morning. That's where they found 37-year-old Mark Turner shot dead lying in the street. Police also found a man shot in the head inside a black Mercedes just a few blocks away. He was taken to Grady Hospital in critical condition. Police say they have reason to believe that the shootings are in fact connected.
Still ahead tonight.
The 4th of July holiday weekend is now behind us, but not without complaints when it comes to the now legal fireworks. Who's crying foul? Coming up.
Our weather team takes a look at how the amount of rain we've been getting could make waterways like the Chattahoochee a dangerous place to swim.
Our Vinnie Politan weighs in on the Jamie Hood trial as testimony continues.
The controversy over the Confederate flag is once again state business in South Carolina tonight. The latest efforts to remove the flag coming up in a live report.
Authorities say the gunman was slow and methodical as he fired at moviegoers.
We're also learning the gunman actually walked out a side door after opening fire and re-entered when he saw cops pulling into the theater parking lot.
When he walked out and he dropped that 10-round clip.
Authorities believe the 59-year-old gunman fired at 3 more victims before killing himself. Tonight, 5 remain hospitalized. 4 have been released.
The gunman has been identified as John Russell Hauser.
And yesterday's shooting in Louisiana eerily surfaced the same sentiments Americans felt back in 2012. That's when gunman James Holmes opened fire inside a theater in Aurora, Colorado during the midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises. 12 people were tragically killed. Developing right now at 11, crews are rushing to fix a large water main break in northern DeKalb County. A 48-inch water main was damaged yesterday at the intersection of Henderson Mill and Evans Road. Thousands of residents lost water. As of hours ago, the leak was still not fixed, but tonight at midnight, the county tells us crews will once again lower the water pressure to try and make repairs.
For several hours.
The county says it was a mowing crew working in that area that damaged the hydrant. As of tonight, there is no boil water advisory in effect. Well, tonight, Senator Vincent Ford and community activists say Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed has broken a promise.
His statement was that
activists say the air conditioning is still not fixed at Friendship Towers. That despite Mayor Reed's promise earlier this week, the issue would be resolved today. It was a promise the mayor said he received from Friendship Baptist Church, which owns the high-rise for the elderly and disabled. Now, late tonight, we received a response from the mayor's office, which said in part, the mayor has pledged to see this through and that seniors will be able to stay in temporary housing until the issue is fixed. Tonight, a horrific story out of Southeast Atlanta that's sure to strike a chord with anyone who owns a pet. A woman was on her way to a friend's house when she saw a suitcase by a dumpster. She thought she heard noises coming from it and found it was full of 7 puppies. 5 were dead, 2 barely breathing. Neither survived.
It's sad for somebody to do that, because God gonna get you for that one.
Atlanta police have launched an investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call the police. In the meantime, Fulton County Animal Services urges anyone with an animal that can no longer care for themselves to please contact them. They can help. Well, it's an 11 Alive investigation we first brought you last night.
I attacked her on sticking the flag up her butt.
Right, but you didn't say that here. You said she's a streetwalker Negro who lays down for white men. What does that have to do with the flag?
She needs to look at her.
The 11 Alive investigators wanted answers from Newton County Commissioner John Douglas after comments he posted on Facebook about a woman desecrating the American flag. He later apologized about what he said, but in a new statement tonight, we heard from the Georgia Republican Party, which condemns the comments made by Douglas, saying in part, "While we believe that the American flag should be defended, we do not believe that hateful speech is ever appropriate." The Democratic Party of Newton County also condemned that speech and called for Douglas to resign. If you missed my full story last night, you can find it on 11alive.com. Today, Rebecca Lindstrom talked with that expecting mother's family and joins us live from the apartment complex where it happened. Rebecca? MARTA's red and gold lines are back in service tonight after a shutdown this afternoon. At around noon today, the train stopped running after reports of smoke in the tunnel between Peachtree and Civic Center stations. Firefighters investigated the scene while MARTA buses carried passengers to their destinations. At around 2:30 this afternoon, MARTA gave the all clear and trains resumed service.
A mother is reaching out to 11 Alive News tonight for help after she says police went way too far arresting her teenage daughter at her home.
She says it was just an innocent sibling fight. Blaine Alexander is holding that police department accountable to find out if those arrests were in fact justified. Blaine?
And Katie, the teenagers were at home alone.
Accused cop killer Jamie Hood is trying to show the prosecution doesn't have sufficient evidence to prove he committed one of the two murders for which he's on trial for.
The December 2010 shooting of Kenneth Amari Ray was allegedly part of the drug-related feud that set off the crime-riddled chain of events, ending with 2 police officers shot and a hostage drama in March of 2011. Valerie Hoff is live in Athens, where Hood is defending himself on felony murder charges. Val, a Brookhaven woman has been charged with making false statements after wrongly accusing a man of raping her. Back in April, 31-year-old Anna Myrna Cabela Loza told police a man dragged her into the bushes and attacked her near a bus stop in Brookhaven. Roberto Gayona Pina was then identified as a person of interest in the bus stop attack and 2 other rapes in Norcross and Roswell. He was later arrested in Alabama, but was only charged with the Brookhaven rape after the GBI determined his DNA was not a match in the other 2 cases. In June, police withdrew all charges after Cabela Loza gave conflicting stories about the supposed attack. Cabela Loza turned herself into Brookhaven police and has been booked in the DeKalb County Jail.